Heard that. What's going on, everybody? This is Tim Hurd, and you are listening to Tall Talk, episode 29. How's everyone's week? My week has been not bad, just grinding away at school, slowly but surely getting busy. But yeah, this is why we're here. We're going to be talking for a little bit. We're going to enjoy a great time. And of course, of all else, we're going to enjoy a delicious beer. But first, a little introduction of what I will be drinking this week. So, Emma and I just went to Anderson Craft Ales, which is another local brewery in London, Ontario. So if you're not familiar with this brewery, I'm going to tell you a little story of them. So during Christmas of 2005, 19-year-old Gavin Anderson received a home brewing kit from his father, Jim. Since then, Gavin has brewed hundreds of batches. While completing a PhD in microbiology some years ago, Gavin volunteered at a local microbrewery. This made Gavin realize brewing beer was more than just a hobby. The next 2 years he spent as a head brewer at a local microbrewery and won many awards. Today, Gavin and his father, Jim, are the founders of Anderson Craft Ales. And if you want to read more about their story, you can find them on andersoncraftales.ca. They have many beers to choose from. And the brewery is kind of like a warehouse, and they have a little bar and patio on the side. And I know patio season's ending very, very soon, which is sad in Canada, but get out there while you still can. So they have an IPA, an amber, and lots more to choose from. But this week, I'll be doing one of their seasonals, which is the Anderson Craft Ales Autumn. 355 millimeter can, 5.5% alcohol. Emma had it in one of her sampler packs, or her what's it called? One of her flats, and she said it was really good. And yeah, I can't wait to try it. They have a little something on the side. It says this smooth, copper-colored Oktoberfest-style beer has a smooth maltiness finish with German noble hops for a clean, crisp finish. And if you want any more information, like I said, go to andersoncraftales.ca. And I'll be cracking that open in just a second. And other things to see on their website. They have a great website. They have a map of Ontario, which is color-coded. Map just of southern Ontario because they haven't located in anywhere other areas. And now they have yellow, red, and green. Now, yellow is LCBO locations, red is in cans location, and green is on tap. If you're in the London area and you want to check them out, the location of the brewery is 1030 Ellis Street, London, Ontario, N5W 3P6. Phone number is 548-888-ALES or 2537. You can follow them on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Hours of operation are Wednesday to Saturday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m., and on Sunday, 12 noon to 5 p.m. And without further ado, let's crack open this Anderson Craft Ales Autumn. Can't wait. Got my glass right here, and we're ready to do this bad boy. All right. It is in the can. It's very excited. I'm not used to not having a tall can. It's strange considering it's a craft beer, but I guess they like the 355 and that's on them, good for them, whatever. Anyways, cheers, folks. I hope everyone's enjoying their week. Oh, yeah. That's good. That's real good. Let me have another little sip. Yeah, not bad. So at the brewery, you can get 6 packs. They're available, or you can get a whole case. You can get a whole 2 for if you your heart desires. You can get you can get flights, you can get pints, whatever you want. It's pretty nice there. They got like massive Jenga upstairs, lots of art at the brewery. The patio was pretty nice, and that's where Emma and I sat, was right at the patio. We had a couple flights, and then they have another seasonal, which is their pumpkin, because it's pumpkin spice season. Everyone is so excited for pumpkin spice season. It's the best season ever. Pumpkin spice lattes are in, I guess, and they've been in for God knows how long, ever since I was at Laurentian, but those days are gone because it's all about Fanshawe. Go Falcons. Oh no, there's going to be some outrageous people about that. But anyways, moving on. What's going on in my week? Well, like I said, I'm in school, and that's always fun. And yeah, it's not bad. Like classes are coming along. Been sort of slowly getting busier. I went to school today to do some studying because I have some projects due. I have to do a couple newscasts, and I have to get used to their program and how they record and their whole procedures. So I went there for a couple hours and did some studying, did some homework, and campus, as usual, on a Saturday at the beginning of September is obviously dead. Just completely dead. There's nobody around. And so it was good. It was good to get some one-on-one action with the prof and who was there, and talk to some of the second years that have already done the assignments that I have to do. I'm really excited because eventually they're going to be put me on the air, and it's going to be live, and yeah, it's going to be like within minutes I'm going to have to do a newscast, and I'm going to have to get pretty good at it really quickly. And so I'm really stoked about that because this is what I want to do, and everything about this, man, is so interesting. Being in the radio booth or being in the atmosphere around journalists and people behind the scenes, like the producers and the engineers and the techs. I love it. And it's only been the first couple of weeks. Like, honestly, for me, I have never in my life been more interested in schoolwork than I have right now. Like Laurentian, I took geography and it sort of interests me, but it does not compare to this. Like, I actually get excited and lose sleep over going to class, where it was a struggle to go to class at Laurentian because I would rather do other things like have a good time or go to pub or drink some Purple Helmet, have you. But no, it's still tough getting used to the age difference. That's the one thing I'm trying to figure out, because I'm 27 years old, and a lot of people that are in this program just got out of high school. So they might not even be 18 yet. And a lot of them aren't even 19 yet. So it's hard to get at the same level as them, or it's hard to interact with them sometimes because it is a hell of an age difference. And I'm not the oldest one in my class, but I know for a fact with all the other mature students that are in my program, it is a struggle to actually try to communicate with these kids. That being said, they're not like assholes or anything. They're really nice, and they're really focused on what they want to do, which is become a broadcaster. And it's just a fun atmosphere. Like, I think that's what a lot of people miss the most once they leave school. It's not the partying per se or anything like that. It's the school atmosphere. Because you have to think, majority of your life, you go to junior kindergarten, you go to kindergarten, and then you're in elementary school. And for majority of your for the most of your beginning of your life, you're in school, and so you get so used to that environment. Then all of a sudden, after university or college, it's like, okay, that's it. And then for a lot of people, they miss it. It's a lot easier to do a couple assignments a week than go to work, whether it be 8, 9, 10, 12, 15 hours a day, whatever your profession is. But that being said, there are a lot of people that enjoy their jobs, but at the same time, they miss school, because the school lifestyle is what most people miss, in my opinion. I miss it the most. Like, I know I'm trying to do a lot better, because I know if I don't if I'm not successful in this program, I already know what my future holds, which is going back to what I was doing before. And so I have to do really well in this. I have no other choice. And that's what I want. I am so focused on doing really well in this program, but I also am pumped that I'm back in the school environment. Another thing that's been happening in my life is I actually got a part-time job. And this morning I had to go to orientation for that. Now it's at a restaurant, and I'm going to be doing host duties, because I have back in the day worked in a restaurant environment, but back of house, washing dishes, doing prep, cooking. But I don't have really that much experience serving. And I don't want to just jump into it and start serving. A lot of people will be like, well, why not? You'd be able to do it. But I want to learn more about the front of house and get more experience. And so I feel like a host position would be a lot better for me. I know I'm risking a lot in tips, but I mean, I don't want to just like hop into it being a server and then screw up horribly in my first week and then just get completely turned off from the restaurant industry. I want to like work my way up and figure it out first, and then once I get comfortable, get into a serving position. Because it's not like just like your regular pub or anything. It's like a pretty specialized restaurant. And no, but it was really cool and fun going to the orientation today. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about like their procedures and their lifestyle and their culture. And I can't wait. I only asked for a couple shifts a week, and they said that's what they would give me because they know I'm in school. And so I'm excited for that, man, because excuse me. I'm just pumped for it because I miss making some money, and it would be nice to make a little bit of a paycheck every 2 weeks. And how about whenever I can? And so I know a lot of people when they're in school or college, like college or university, they go that route. You know, they do the restaurant industry thing, or they do retail. It's something that they can do while they're focused on their studies as well. So I'm really pumped about that. It was just funny today because the manager went around and asked for everyone's birthday. And I was like, oh, my birthday is November 30th, 1990. And the closest birthday that was near mine was 1998. And the guy who was sitting beside me was like, oh, my birthday's in 2002. I was like, Jesus. Wow, okay. That's crazy, but no, that's what happens when you go back to school at age 27. You're going to run into these situations. So yeah, that's what's been really going on in my life this week. School's been nothing but fun, just learning a lot and just gearing up to get on the air, which is nice. And yeah, I don't know what else is going on. I've watched some movies on Netflix. I watched a decent movie called Mudbound, and it's based in Mississippi right after World War II, or actually during World War II as well. And I suggest check it out. It was a really good movie. It's won a couple of awards, and I don't want to like go into details about it, but I really enjoyed it. And it's a sorry, I'm still trying to struggle with this cough that I've had for a couple weeks. But I really enjoyed it, man. Like it wasn't a fun movie. It was a movie that made you think. It's huge about racism, considering it's in Mississippi. And Emma's cooking right now, and she's actually making a delicious feast. mashed potatoes and salmon and some vegetables. It's going to be real good. I can't wait to eat it. And another movie that I watched was Black Panther. I know that's a little, well, if Black Panther came out like months ago, why are you watching it now? It's because that's when it came out it got released on Netflix. And so I watched Black Panther, and I really enjoyed that movie, especially Michael B. Jordan's performance as the villain. Michael B. Jordan, if you don't know him, I suggest you watch season 1 of The Wire. Check out a young Michael B. Jordan. He's in Fruitville Station. He's a very good actor, and except for that Fantastic Four that he was in. I heard that was nothing but trash, but anyways, we're not going to get into that. But Black Panther, Michael B. Jordan, and the rest, really good. I really liked it, especially as a Marvel movie. And I'm excited. I don't know. I'm not excited, but like, let's see what happens with this Avengers Age of Ultron Part 2. We'll see what happens, because that's going to come out soon. But yeah, that's like really what's been going on with me. BoJack Horseman season 5, I believe, got released, and I started watching that last night. It's one of those weird shows because it's like cartoon human animals. So like BoJack is like a human body, but he has a horse head, and so a lot of people don't like it because it's such a weird concept. But I really enjoy it, and excuse me, holy fuck. So yeah, like check that out if you're interested in cartoons, because I don't know, I grew up watching The Simpsons, and like South Park is classic. It's great television, and I just like Futurama is another great one that I love to watch, even though it's hard to find these days. But honestly, man, I love a good cartoon, especially when it's meant for adults. Like adult cartoons, like comedies, are hilarious. Even though the last season of Archer I watched wasn't my cup of tea. It wasn't. I mean, it was like in a coma, and it was like back in the 1920s. It wasn't my favorite, but BoJack Horseman has been like, I love the writing, and I love the concept. Like it took me a couple episodes to get used to it, but once I was on board, I was like, wow, I really enjoy this. Oh my God, this cough is never going away. I'm sorry. I apologize. But no, and oh fuck, there's been a lot of things going on in the world this week. Oh my God. Has everyone seen what's been going on with this Doug Ford fiasco and the notwithstanding clause? Jesus. So if you don't know what that is, basically the notwithstanding clause is they had to get a bill 31, which is to reduce the council in Toronto, the city council. And the court said no, but then Doug Ford just went ahead and did it anyways, or is just going to go for it anyways. And so they're doing this, and it's just such a weird thing because it's going to reduce council from 47 to 25 wards, which when it comes to people in each ward, so it's I think it's around like 60,000 people when there was 47 wards in Toronto. I could be wrong. Those numbers aren't like accurate. And it's going to like increase it to over 100,000 people. So if you think about it this way, when it comes to municipal government, who do you complain about? So just say there's a pothole in front of your driveway. Who are you going to complain to? You're not going to go to your MP, your member of parliament for federal, because he's going to be like, well, it doesn't concern military. It doesn't concern national interests. So why would I give a fuck? You're not going to go to your MPP, your member of provincial parliament, because he's like, well, does it concern about healthcare, education? Nope, not my cup of tea. Not for me. You're going to call your councillor for that ward. And so think about being responsible for over 100,000 people. How many calls you're going to get in a day? Like, Mr. or Mrs., yeah, there's a pothole in front of my parking lot, and I want it fixed right now. I elected you. These are my tax dollars. Figure it out. Imagine how many phone calls this counselor is going to get. Not to mention anything. It could be a pothole. It could be, oh, my garbage wasn't picked up on time. It's gonna affect them. And so I feel for the city of Toronto, because Toronto's fucking huge. It's like I don't know. It's probably I think it is the biggest city in Canada, and that's a lot of responsibility for one person. Like, I wouldn't want to take care of 100 or 120,000 people. That's a lot of work. It makes sense why there's 47 wards in Toronto. But I don't really understand why he did the notwithstanding clause for this. There's so many other ways he could have, other bills that he could have used it for. So, this is the first time in Ontario's history that this clause was used. It's happened in Quebec before. And Quebec used it, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong. You can email me this if I'm wrong. I believe it was about language, how they wanted more French signs than English signs. I'm not 100% sure, but I know they used it in Quebec. And if I'm wrong, call me out on it, email me, tweet at me. I would love your feedback on this, because I'm not 100% sure. But the first time it's been used in Ontario. And it was huge news. A lot of people were shocked about this, especially when it comes to this bill reducing Toronto City Council. Why is Doug Ford making this a big deal? Is it because he lost the election to John Tory and it's a vendetta? Answer some of these questions for me. I'd love your feedback. talltalkpodcast@gmail.com, at Tall Talk Podcast on Twitter. Let's figure it out. Let's communicate. Let's get it going. So yes, and so on the weekend, they had, actually today, I'm doing this on a Saturday, they had a rare meeting on Queen's Park. And I believe the legislator was involved. And they wanted to make sure that, and it's in quotes here, that this goes through in a timely passage. So they're working on a Saturday. Good for them. Waking up on a Saturday. All these government people. Oh, I have to wake up on a Saturday? But I left work early on 1 o'clock. I shouldn't have to come in on a Saturday. This is bullshit. I'm just joking. You guys work a lot. You guys make all the laws and rules for our great province. It's probably one of the greatest provinces of all time. Am I right, McLovin? That's why you moved here. Am I wrong? Answer me this, McLovin. What's better, Azilda or PEI? Go. Boom. That's right. I went there. Get at me. Tall Talk Podcast. Boom. Just kidding, McLovin. I love you. You're a great guy. So that's what's going on in Toronto. Mr. Doug Ford is just doing what he wants. I mean, buck of beer is not really doing the greatest for him. And yeah, that's about it for Mr. Ford. Moving on. Oh yeah, and so if you follow me on Twitter, you started to notice that I've been tweeting a lot about weather, and I've always loved weather. I love looking at radar. I don't know why. I think it's because I grew up with my dad constantly watching the Weather Network. And if you grew up in the 90s and you would always have the Weather Network in the background, they had one of those classic jingles, and it was drums, and they would always hit the snare at right when they would change where they were doing the weather forecast. And it was just a great jingle. And then as soon as they hit the late 2000s, that was it. It was nope, we're completely changing our format. Oh, sorry about the coughing. I really apologize about that. And so yeah, I in my back of my head, I've always thought weather was awesome, and it is awesome. It's always constantly changing. It could be sunny at one point, then all of a sudden it's a thunderstorm. You're like, what the fuck, and what's going on? And so with this broadcasting thing, that's what I want to get into is weather. And I would love to work for a station that specifically involved around weather, like the Weather Network or the Weather Channel, something like that. Like, and so right now this week it's been incredible for weather news. Not so incredible if you're in the Carolinas. Unfortunately, there is a massive hurricane over the Carolinas right now, but it did drop down to a Category 1 hurricane a couple days ago, and now it got dropped down to just a tropical storm, I believe. So, unfortunately, and I'm sorry to hear about this, but some people have passed away during this hurricane. Oh my God. I took a hose before this too. This is horrible. So I'm sorry to hear about that. That's really unfortunate. I couldn't imagine living in an area that is completely flooded and there's lots of rain. Emma's just making so much noise and dropping everything. But it's going to be delicious. No, but this Hurricane Florence, or Tropical Storm Florence now that it's called, it's right over the Carolinas right now, and it's causing a lot of flooding. And it said something, there was like, in some areas, there was over like meters of water. I'm not exactly sure, like 3 meters of water. Some areas could see that much. And like heavy winds and just typical hurricane weather. Now, right now in the Philippines and China, there's a massive typhoon. And I believe it's called Typhoon Mangkhut. And it blasts the coast of the Philippines. And right now it's considered the strongest tropical cyclone or typhoon of the year. 4 million directly in its path, and the winds are up to 205 kilometers per hour. That's insane. That's a crazy amount of weather coming their way. And apparently it's caused a lot of mudslides, a lot of disaster, which it sucks because, I mean, like, this is hurricane season. And if you don't know what the difference is, it's between a hurricane and a typhoon. It's basically like a storm, like the location of the storm. So in the Atlantic, that's where hurricanes are from. And in the Northwest Pacific, or the Pacific, that's where typhoons are. So if you're in those areas... Oh, God. This fucking cough is so annoying. It is. I've been coughing like this for weeks. I can't take it anymore. I just wanted to go away. I've been destroying halls. Drinking tea. Ginger tea. Oh, more commentating from the cheap seats over there. Anyways, so these are some crazy weather fiascos going on right now, and hopefully they're gone soon. And fuck, I couldn't imagine. That's insane. But global warming doesn't exist. That's not a thing that happens. So those are some things that are going around the world. And what happened this week? Oh, if you're a Senators fan, I don't think you're too happy about what happened. Erik Karlsson got traded to the San Jose Sharks, and for some people, Chris Tierney, defenseman Dylan DeMello, forward prospects Josh Norris and Rudolph Blassers, as well as a first-round pick in either 2009 or 2020. So because I don't know that much about sports, I asked some people that have been on this podcast before. So I asked my buddy Sam what he thought about the trade. He was like, Ottawa got shit. Biggest mistake was not giving Colorado the pick first. So at least they could tank this year and have a shot at Hughes, who's supposed to be at Matthews' level. And then I messaged McLovin, and he said, they got nothing for him. Sens fans have no reason to show up to the rink now, which has been slowly but surely happening at the CTC. No one really goes anyways, and it's super quiet there. And then I texted my buddy Trent. He's like, I'm happy for Karlsson. Feel bad for Sens fans. There's a very good chance the Sens have a historically bad season, and they have no first-round picks for this year's draft. They sold them for cents on the dollar. Oh, my God. This cough is so annoying. Ugh. So I feel bad about... Well, I don't feel bad about Karlsson. I feel bad about Ottawa because they lost their boy. And that's upsetting, but... God, I am so sorry, everyone. This is not a good podcast. Oh, but I got to do it. I got to power through. it. So, yeah, Erik Karlsson's gone. And my panel of sports analysts say that Ottawa got shit in general. And it sounds like they did. I don't really understand the whole trade, but it sucks for Ottawa, but I guess they're going to try to rebuild. They're in rebuild mode, and they'll figure it out, I guess. Oh, this cough. So, another thing that happened this week was the 17th anniversary of 9/11, which that happened when I was in grade 6. I was in Madame Price's class at the time, and we got sent home because of it. And it was funny, one of our questions in class was like, who here remembers 9/11? And I was one of 3 people to raise their hand. And I was thinking about this. Some people in my class were only 1 or 2 years old when 9/11 happened. So that's putting it in perspective, the age difference. Because I remember that day. That day was insane. Like that was for weeks, that was the only thing that was on television, was just that news. Like some of the photos and videos from that day are insane, and just the fact that happened is crazy. So 17 years that's when it happened, and like I've been to Ground Zero before. It's really tragic. So there you go. That is what's going on this week in my life and around the world. So I've been trying to figure out some new formats for this podcast. I don't know. I'm just experimenting right now. I was going to try, and you can send me feedback at what you think. I was going to try to do something new, which would be the beer news. So just strictly beer news and what's going on with beer, wherever it may be. And so my main focus this week was the Cleveland Browns and the Bud Light beer fridges. Now I know this is not new news at all. Everyone knew about this in like the beginning of August, but last week they tied the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they're called victory fridges. They're not called tie fridges. So they tied the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the fridges didn't open. So I guess a lot of people in Cleveland were pissed off about this because they're still undefeated. They haven't lost a game yet, even though it's a tie. They haven't won a game since like 2016. So like this is a daring marketing tool by Bud Light. But it could be like they might not win a game because they're playing the Saints this weekend, this Sunday, tomorrow. And if they win, good on Cleveland. They're going to be cracking open some Buddy Lights. I wish they were Michelob Ultras, though. Cracking open some Buddy Lights and just getting right boozed up. I remember watching some stuff from like them trying to make the playoffs way back when, and they started throwing they started throwing like, I'm pretty sure Bud Light or Coors Light or somebody had this phenomenon that they were going to have like reusable bottles where you could like crack it open and close it again. And so they had these at the Browns games. And I just remember, like, it's always in like Sports Center top 10s or Sportsnet top 5s or whatever. And they're just hawking these bottles because there was a bad call and they ended the game. And I'm pretty sure because of that, they didn't make the playoffs. Like, these Cleveland Browns fans are fucking nuts. Like, they go to the game. They might be diehard football fans or Browns fans. And they just get completely spanked by whoever's playing them. And they have this $175 jersey, and they rip it up to shreds. They throw it. They pour beer all over it. They have their paper bags over their heads, and they're called the lovable losers because you're supposed to love them because they never win. And it's just like, oh, come on. And now that LeBron James is in LA, I mean, what are they going to cheer for? Fuck, come on, Cleveland Browns. Give these people a victory so they can open these fridges. I guess they're opened by Wi-Fi. And whenever they win, because they're victory fridges, those bad boys open and it's just riot time. Because you know it's going to happen. Like, Bud Light has literally started a riot. Like, think about this. These Cleveland Browns win tomorrow. They beat the Saints. You know, they beat Drew Brees. All of a sudden, everyone in Cleveland's fired up. And I believe it's in New Orleans. And they beat the Saints. These fridges open. And, you know, everyone's at a bar. Everyone's eating chicken wings. They're at Buffalo Wild Wing or whatever. Or they're at some place. They're just eating greasy food, boozing all day, because that's what you do on football Sunday. And all of a sudden, they've already had like 12 to 15 Bud Lights. They win the game. Boom, this fridge opens. And they're in this location. A riot, try to get a beer. Because it looks like, I don't know, what would you say? There's 50 bottles of beer in this. They open this complete mayhem trying to get a beer. People are probably going to try to take as many as they can. Like, what are the rules on this? Is it just like there's a security person just handing them one at a time, or is it just like first come, first serve? Because if that fridge opens and that lock opens, I'm going to take as many as I can, especially if I'm close by. And who knows, maybe they might not get open this year. And at the end of the season, there's going to be riots anyways because people love beer. They love Bud Light. Bud Light is America. You know what I mean? And then they're gonna start a riot, throw that fridge down, break it open, and just go to town. Because why not, right? But apparently only these fridges are in the Cleveland area. So there's Browns fans in other locations in the States and around the world. And they want a piece of the action. But I read on Twitter that the fridges are only available these victory fridges are only available in Cleveland, and Bud Light won't ship them anywhere else. So people that are fans in another location are getting pissed. So there's a group from New York called the Big Apple Browns. They got denied a victory fridge. And the result was they did it themselves. They have this fridge and it's filled with Coors Light and champagne. And as soon as they win a game, they open that beer fridge and they just start rioting because I honestly feel that's what's going to happen. Like, I'm not giving Cleveland, the city of Cleveland, a bad rep here. It's just, especially if you've been boozing all day. Sorry. Oh my God, this is annoying. Especially if you've been boozing all day, and then you're just like, all right, well, I got free beer now. I might as well drink as many as I can. Like, people are gonna get knocked out. Like, oh, it's gonna be mayhem when those fridges open. And I actually hope they beat the Saints because I just want to go on Twitter, I want to go on YouTube, and I want to go online and just see mayhem. It might be like just as bad as when Black Friday happens. Like, these Black Friday people, like, they don't understand that Black Friday happens on Amazon, I guess, because they have Amazon deals and there's Amazon days and whatever. These people wait. They don't go to Thanksgiving. They don't care. They camp out and they have all their stuff. They have like their air conditioner with them, and they have like a cooler, and they're just hanging out in front of a store. And then that moment in the morning, as soon as that keys turn, it's just complete mayhem. Like, people have died during Black Friday, and who knows? We'll see what happens. But I mean, it's free beer. Like, it's free anything. It's free alcohol. It's something that gets you fucked up, and you don't have to pay for it. And wow, I am very excited to see the mayhem that happens after this. So go Browns. I hope you destroy Drew Brees and the Saints. I hope you guys win, or at least I hope you guys win this year, because I just want to see what happens afterwards. This is either a good or a bad thing. I'm not exactly sure the amount of beer fridges they have around in the area, but good for them for tying the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's a good thing. Good on them. And we'll see what happens with that. And so, without a further ado, that is the beer news. The first beer news. Or, I've talked about beer news before. I just haven't, really titled it the beer news. So, I don't know. We'll figure it out. But, yeah, that's about it. Oh, wait a minute. There's one more thing. We've got a question. We got a question. Someone emailed me. I haven't checked my email yet, but I got an email from, who is it? It's somebody. I got an email from somebody. I'm pretty excited. McLovin emailed me. Well, that's no fun. At least he's giving me some material. So what did he say? What does he say in this email? Long-time listener of the pod. You're killing it. I look forward to the new episode every Monday. Aw, thanks, man. I miss you too. I wanted to know if you could share what your favorite memory of LU was. What sticks out, or what's the first thing you think about when you think of LU? L who? Oh, LU. Oh, right. Also, when is the Potato Man back on? Give the people what they want. Love, your secret admirer, McLovin. Sent from my iPhone. Oh, I thought you didn't have data. You must be just letting the Wi-Fi fly, Curtis. Okay, so could you share what your favorite memory of LU is? Oh, God. There's so many to choose from. God, I don't know. You're putting me on the spot here, buddy, which is what I wanted. I think it was the beginning of second year. That was my favorite memory. You already know what's happening. You're not nervous like you are in first year. You're like, oh my God, who's my roommate going to be, or like how is university going to be? Like, I'm nervous about that. It's like you already know what's happening. You already know the school. You already have decent friends, and with Laurentian, at least, you're allowed to go back to res as long as you want. You can stay there up to fourth or fifth year, or if you want to be a sixth year beauty, you can stay on campus. And so, being able to stay on campus and staying in Huntington for a second year, I was really excited, especially the fact that McLovin and I were roommates. I was really stoked about that. So yeah, it was but the beginning of the year is always fun, especially being that young. I was already 19 in my second year, and we had parties, we went out, we had a good time. It was a lot of fun. And what sticks out, what's the first thing you think about when you think of LU? Honestly, what I miss the most, I miss the beginning of second year a lot, but what sticks out the most is those days where it's not a huge party. It's not anytime you go to the club or a bar when you're in university or college, it's the same thing no matter where you are. It's there might be dancing, there might be shots. You might be getting Jaeger bombs or whatever. You might just be binge drinking, and that's what you do. But what really sticks out with me is like those small things, you know, like when I lived off campus with living in a house with a group of friends. That's really what sticks out. Like always having somebody there for you, and being able to hang out with your bros, if you want to say that, like, you know, like having days where you don't really do much, like you don't have an assignment due, and you come home from class and you're done at 1 o'clock, and you just lay on the couch and be a piece of shit, and you just hang out with your friends. You know, that's what I really miss. I miss, like, because you have so much downtime. Well, depending on your program. Some programs you don't have any fucking downtime, and I feel for those people. But those are the people that are running the world right now. But anyways, well, that's not really true. But yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter. And I just miss, like, being able to, like, hang out with the boys. You know, like I'm not gonna lie, I was bro. Like I had my snapbacks. I left the stickers on my snapbacks. You know, I loved that. I had ridiculous shirts, and I what sticks out is just like going to the library with a group of friends and having like an hour break where you go for a smoke, or you go for a coffee, and you come back and you grind. You do that for an hour, and then you do it all over again, or you like waiting for the bus. Like it's weird that sticks out in my head, but like waiting for the bus in -40 weather is what sticks out. Is like those little small things, like not the partying, not the fun. It's just like having lots of your friends close by. And I think that's what a lot of people go through, especially after a couple years after they graduate. You know, they might move to a different city because they got to follow where the money is, and that's that's about it. And so when is the Potato Man back on? I mean, that's up to you, buddy. Like you have to get back here. You have to come to London. You know, it's up to you what you want to do. I heard you have a lot of free time going on right now, so yeah, shoot me a text or whatever you want, McLovin, and you can head down to London. But it depends on my schedule and of course yours. But you're more than welcome to come on the podcast. I've told you this multiple times. I thought you did really well. I'm not saying anything bad about Sam, Trent, or Koss or Mihut. Those guys did really well, and those guys are more than welcome to come back on again. It's just I thought you did really well, and I'd love to have you back on, but it depends on our schedule and what's going on in the world, I guess. But yeah, I think that's about it. I don't have any other questions, and I think dinner's almost ready. So without further ado, folks, you can follow this podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, at Tall Talk Podcast. You can subscribe to the podcast on SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube. And like you can email me, talltalkpodcast@gmail.com. And if you want to check out my personal account on Instagram, that's HeardTimothy90. All right, folks, I hope you have a great weekend, and I hope you have a great week coming up. Until next time, it's been a Timbo Slice. Peace.